everyone, welcome to my channel. If it's your first time joining, thank you. If you are a previous subscriber, a new subscriber, or you're coming from a previous video you have watched on my channel, welcome back. In today's video, I will be talking about everything you will need for the In the Hoop embroidery wallet. You will be constructing the wallet all in the hoop, and the stitch out will be in 4 or 5 different files. You will need to go to the Etsy store that I purchased this pattern from, or this design from, and I do have permission from the designer to be sharing this design with you, but you will have to, you will have to purchase the pattern in order to get the stitch out and the files that you will need that you will be putting into your embroidery machine, whether you do them by Wi-Fi or USB. You will have to have the stitch out file. And the construction of the wallet, since it all is in the done in the hoop, you will have to purchase the design for that, the pattern design for that. And I will link her Etsy store in the description down below, so please check that out. It is Imlova or Imilova. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, and I'm really sorry that I am pronouncing that incorrectly. It is capital I, M-I-L-O-V-A Designs. And she has some some incredible designs on her page in her Etsy store. And I definitely check them out because there are so many that she has. And I've purchased 3 or 4 different designs from her store. And again, I do have permission to share this with you all. Okay, so I did a video where I talked about reading ahead in your design instructions, whether you print them out like I did, or you're viewing them on a laptop or a desktop computer. Make sure you read 3 to 4 steps ahead in your instructions to save you some time-consuming mistakes or some costly mistakes, because I did waste some product. That video title that I talk about that is called Overconfidence Can Lead to Mistakes. And what I mean by that is in the directions that you print out, she's got a video link that before you print them out, you can click on that video link and it'll take you to YouTube, and you can watch how she constructs the wallet. And it does not have any sound in the video, but I thought I was confident enough to know what I was doing after watching that video, and I was wrong and I had some mistakes. So as we progress through this project, I will be showing you the mistakes that I made and how to prevent those. So definitely read ahead in your design instructions. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we are going to talk about the supplies that you're going to need. In mine, I went ahead and just used quilter's cotton. I used a solid color on the outside and then the patterned fabric on the inside. And for this next one, I'm going to use solid color for the outside and the inside, and then the patterned fabric for the rest of the wallet to just give it some contrast. Okay, so what you're going to need is you are going to need either your quilter's cotton, like I am using here. So I have my pieces of fabric already all cut, or you can use eco leather or marine vinyl, and that's what this is here. And in one of my pieces where I made a mistake, I was using marine vinyl. And for this particular project and my machine, it just did not agree. I don't know if it was the vinyl that I'm using, if it just did not, my machine just did not like it, or so it was just causing me problems. So I decided, instead of saving me some grief, I went ahead and just used fabric. So that is what I will be doing when I film the actual stitching and the construction of the wallet. I will be using fabric, but I will let you know which pieces to use where. Okay, so your measurements are going to be, for if you're using vinyl, you are going to cut one piece that is 8 by 12, and then you are going to cut your interfacing fabric, which will be your lining pieces. So if you're using vinyl, that will be your outside piece. Then one of your 3 pieces of the interfacing fabric will be for the inside. But since I'm using both fabric for all of it, so it would be one 8 by 12, which will be for the outside, a second piece 8 by 12 for the inside, and then for your 2 additional, you can see here in the instructions that it says 3 pieces that are 8 by 12. One of my solid pieces is one of those third pieces. So since my inside is going to be the patterned fabric for the other portions of the wallet, I cut 2 pieces of that 8 by 12. And when we are doing the construction of it, I will explain which pieces to use, of course. Okay, then you are going to take and cut 12 pieces that are 8 inches by 4 inches. And I have went ahead and did the prep for some of those pieces ahead of time, just to save time in the filming. So these are part of those 12. I will show you on these on what you're going to do with these. This piece I ironed incorrect, so I will have to fix that. Maybe? Wait. Yes. Excuse me. Okay, so that is part of your 12 pieces that are cut 8 by 4. Then you are going to need a zipper that is 9 inches. I am using a contrasting purple shade. Then you are going to need a piece of batting, whether you use polyester batting like she talks about in her instructions, or you can use, in one of my stitch outs that I made a mistake on, I was using an 80-20 quilting batting, and I have a lot of that on hand since I do my quilting, and I have a lot of scraps. 8 by 12 piece was really great to find in my scrap stash. But what I decided, since I am not using the eco leather or the vinyl, I am using a Pellin Thermolam, and it's got a little bit of I guess a rigid structure to it. So since I am using all quilting cotton, I decided to use a batting that will give a little bit more structure to the wallet. And when it was stitched out, you can see that it gave it some firmness, where if you were using your vinyl or your eco leather, that would be giving your wallet some structure. So that is what I will be using. Then for your other supplies, you are going to need some snaps or some type of button that you will be doing your closure part of your wallet. And I purchased these metal snaps from Amazon. And when I purchased them the first time, I thought this set had the tools in it, and you can see the tools in here. I'm not going to take it out of the plastic, but you can see the tools in here. So I had to buy an additional set that had the tools, and that the tools are needed to attach the different pieces of the snaps and to bond those together. So you're going to need some type of snap. You're going to need a hammer, and this is my little hammer that I bought from Harbor Freight. I think I paid maybe $3 for it. It's the perfect size little hammer to have in a craft room. It's just a cute little hammer. So there's that. Then you will need either a glue stick, masking tape, or quilt basting spray. In my first stitch out parts where I was making mistakes, I used quilt basting spray, and I believe that was part of some of the reasons why I was having some issues, and I'll explain that later when we get to that. If you know that your machine does well with quilt basting spray, go ahead and use it, but use it sparingly. Because some of these sections are going to have multiple layers in it, and if you use quilt basting spray in each one of those layers to attach the back fabric or the lining fabric or your interfacing, you're going to have a lot of basting spray in some of those areas. And if your machine is picky, you may get some thread breakage, just some issues on your project that may not get you the results that you wish. So that is what happened to me. And when we get to those portions of the project, I will explain why I'm not using quilt basting spray. But if you're confident in using it, and you know your machine can stitch through multi-layers of fabric with quilt basting spray on each one of those, that's great. I know that the max amount of quilt basting spray that I can use is when I do my quilting. I spray baste my backing fabric to the batting, and then my quilt top to the batting, and I know that's the max amount that my machines can handle, is 2 layers of the quilt basting spray, and that is it. Okay, so then you're going to want either a iron. I have my little travel iron here, my little mini iron, and this works really good for my work area because I have a smaller work area when I have my embroidery unit set up. I do not have the embroidery unit on the machine at this time. I have it off to the side just so we have some room. So if you don't use the iron, you can use a seam roller, not ruler. And this worked okay, but I did like the crisp seams that the iron gave instead, and I will show you what I mean by that. So in these portions that I went ahead and prepared ahead of time, it gave it a nice crisp seam, whereas these ones that I did in the test project, I just used the seam roller, and I really liked the way they looked with the iron instead. It gave me a nice crisp fold on those. Okay. Then you're going to use whatever thread that you're going to use. When you do load the design into the machine, you are going to see that she has different colors of thread in the design. And when you proceed through, it is step 1 or file 1. She is going to tell you about the individual colors that you see in the stitching or in the machine are your folding lines, and that's what these are going to be on here, are your folding lines. And it shows you where to fold, and the different colors are going to be easier to determine where your folds are. But it does tell you that you can make your embroidery all in one color, which I did. So just refer to your design, your printed designs, or if you're viewing it on a computer screen, follow along that way. In this sample, I used a contrasting color, which was this deep eggplant purple. And I found in my stitch out that when I removed my stabilizer, and you trim your excess fabric away, I could see the threads, since I was using a lighter color fabric than my thread. I could see the fabric threads that kind of frayed after I cut it. I could see them through it, so I decided in this next portion I was going to use a matching thread, and that is going to be my matching thread for my purple. Okay, so your next thing is you are going to need, of course, your embroidery hoop. And for my FAF machine, the hoop that worked for mine to fit the design size, the fabric size, was the 260 by 200 hoop. And I did try a smaller hoop, which is my 240 by 150, and it did not fit in the hoop. When I went to go start my stitching, it told me that my design was out of hoop, out of frame, I guess. So I had to definitely upsize to the next hoop. She does talk about in her instructions to either use a tearaway or a water soluble. And I will be using both. And when we get to those areas of the stitch out on the wallet, I will explain why I'm using the different stabilizer. Just a heads up, or a let you know ahead of time. I used the water soluble on the body of the wallet, and then I used the tearaway stabilizer in this portion, these ones right here, these flaps. And the reason why I did use the tearaway is because it did give these some more structure. And when I'm doing the constructing of the wallet, I liked that the tearaway stabilizer is going to maintain that structure in this portion of the wallet when it's finished. It's because you're not going, the stabilizer is going to stay in there. If you were using the water soluble stabilizer, it would be a little more flimsy, like these ones are. You can see that they're really flexible, and this one has some more. You can hear it's got the the rigidness of what the tearaway stabilizer is going to give you. Okay, so I think that is it for our instruction and your supply portion. The next video is going to be hooping our stabilizer and starting our stitching. So that will be part 2, and it will be coming up right after this video, so we can just kind of proceed right along. And again, I will link the Etsy store where this design is. I don't know if I can link the exact design of this project design, but this is the 8x10 wallet. She does have some other wallets that are different size, so you'll just want to make sure that you look for this particular design and the size that is 8x10, or I'm sorry, 6x10, I believe it was. Yes, 6x10. So you're going to want to look for that. Stay tuned for that next video because that's coming right up after this. And we'll see you soon.